figure out how is best to deal with this massive amount of ranged firepower on both sides, and artillery in this game is the answer to that. Luda Boy's trying to find a good spot to set up. Sheffy and Blasta both now in tier 2. Raaar finally not finally, but very quickly pushing straight ahead into tier 3. They did manage to hold their power a bit longer, so they probably got a bit of a power advantage, and they only managed to lose one of their power farms as opposed to both of them that the blue side Blasta and Sheffy lost. You can see these Ludas took a bit of crippling poison and they are very exposed. They're going to need to fall out of there right away. The second Devastator did manage to set up well enough to suppress one of those Termagon squads and get them out of there pretty quickly. But he's going to need to do something about the zone throw. He decides he's not going to sit there. He knows the artillery is out there. No reason to stand in their range of fire. Nice shot by the Weird Boy, who's now on the field, knocking that Plague Marine over, and the combined power of the Mech Boy's Def Gun and the double shooter, Big Shooter Boys, taking that out pretty good. A nice shot by the zone throw, but the Mech Boy teleports in and suppresses him. These Plague Marines are not going to be able to do much to the Shooter Boys and the Weird Boys. So they're going to go ahead and get out of there. So a good back and forth going on so far. You can see we're already starting to see a lot of action happening here in the center. A nice teleport by the Mech Boy, forcing that Zone Thrope right off immediately. Zone Thropes, of course, extremely frail. You have to be very careful with them, despite their very nice artillery use. Weird Boy under a lot of fire from the double Cinch Marines. He needs to get the heck out of there. They can melt through him pretty quickly without much effort. And you can see JamusMcGamus setting up the nice Nurgle Worship to support his front line ranged fire here. The Slugger Boys now upgraded with a knob. Looks like they're going to get tossed over there happening and getting thrown right into the middle here. That's still going to be a lot for them to deal with, especially if those Marines get in. Meanwhile, a Ravener Burrow Strike happening, trying to knock apart Blasta's defenses here. But it looks like that's not going to be able to do anything. And the Slugger Boys also having to fall back. So you can see a win and a loss for the blue side. Same for the red. Blasta managed to hold his side, got himself a second squad of Tactical Marines, and pushing back on that ranged Nid firepower. It looks like the Ludas are in a bit of trouble here. They've got all of the range power suppressed, but the Plague Marines are still launching some rockets and knocking off members here. They're probably going to have to get out of there soon, waiting for the inevitable help of the double Big Shooter Boys over here, but I still don't quite think that's going to be enough. I think he's just going to stand there and take it. He might have to fall out of there, but with the Nurgle Worship you can see it's just regenerating extremely quickly, not ultimately doing much damage there. Meanwhile, Blasta gets pushed away by the Zone Throat, and yes, it does look like Sheffy decides to go ahead and fall back and cut his losses on that engagement.
Our foes push into our territory.
Blasta now getting himself a squad of Assault Space Marines, while Raaar is bringing on our first big Tier 3 vehicle in the form of a Carnifex, bringing that right onto the field. 2 Plague Marines on the field now for Jamus, or 3 Plague Marines on the field for Jamus. Curious considering there's no vehicles, but in a game like this, with 3 Plague Marines and Nurgle Worship, even without vehicles on the field, they're going to be a hard force to move. There's really not much they're going to be able to do to kill 3 squads of Plague Marines without some serious help. Stick Bombs are now on the field, and there's a nice starting volley for them. Going a little further than he wanted because they were throwing downhill. The Weird Boy added a little support there with a knockdown shot, and did a little bonus damage on that.
Issuing plasma gun.
And it looks like this Barbed Strangler has been upgraded on the Carnifex here, and the Nid player trying to lock down the center. You can see Stick Bombs and Weird Boy for the Orc trying to deal with the range blob. The Barbed Strangler Carnifex is the Nid's counter. They're really just doing anything they can to keep these ranged piles under control. Jamus was probably preparing for some vehicles that ultimately never came out, and the Assault Marines, now upgrading with Thunder and Lightning, going to try to deal with this Carnifex. You can see upon seeing this Carnifex on the field, Sheffy has gone ahead and gotten himself a Beamy Luda for both his Luda boys and his Mech Boy, really punching some holes into that Carnifex. The tax moved up a bit too quickly, and oh, Spore Mine, and then, oh my goodness, look at that, that was 4 Marines and 1 Spore Mine burst right there, combined with the Barge Strangler, really put a hurting on that tactical Marine squad. There's a Warp Vomit combined with some nice looking stick bombs up there. With the Weird Boys in green cover, he's going to be alright for a little while. Just a lot of range damage. See, this is exactly what I want to see in this big... Another great volley of stick bombs. Just lots of range flying back and forth. Just volley after volley, a flurry of bullets and rockets and everything else you can imagine. Grenades. And again, whatever it is the Termagants fire from their bug guns. Another blast coming from the zone throw. He really should be focused over here on the orcs instead of firing at that singular hero with that artillery. And it looks like those Siege Marines are in a lot of trouble. They have to get out of there with these 2 fully upgraded Shooter Boy squads. It looks like the Weird Boy doesn't have the Warp Head upgrade, I believe it's called, which gives him the Foot of Gork and increases his energy significantly. I would love to see just a great big Foot of Gork happening right in the middle here. Oh no, some scouts were trying to do a quick cap of the VP, but they fell to some Termagants. And now the Shooter Boy is moving up with the support of the Weird Boy, just constantly knocking over. Here come the Assault Space Marines. Gonna go ahead and jump in on these Plague Marines. And you can see the Weird Boy is just doing a great job of making sure he doesn't knock over those Assault Space Marines. So pretty good play there overall. A drop pod being called in, gonna be reinforcing those Assault Marines, I suppose. And a Plague Cloud getting knocked on. Excellent play by Sheffy, tossing those Shooter Boys away from that Plague Cloud. That was really well played on his part. Really cut his losses. That Plague Cloud can do a lot of damage in a really short amount of time.
Research underway.
And now both players on the blue team are heading on up towards Tier 3. That Mech Boy needs to turn around and support the Tech Marine, but he does not able to face both of the high DPS Siege Marines on his own. A nice, excellent teleport by a already set up Mech Boy with a Def Gun, giving the Plague Marine a face full of Daka, almost taking him out instantly. Teleporting into point blank range is always an excellent tactic with that Daka gun. And we're down to under 200 points for the blue team with a triple cap in Red's favor. They really need to get back on the field as soon as they can and start dealing some damage to this big pile of enemies they've got happening out here.
The enemy is outmaneuvering us.
You can see tactical Marines moving up on this far west victory point, and meanwhile all the suppression squads are getting set up to support the middle battle here. Stick Bombers been doing an excellent job of disruption, combined with that Weird Boy just causing constant knockdown and damage in the AoE variety on this big pile of ranged units. Jamus did not like that drop pod. He went ahead and launched a couple rockets and destroyed that. Doesn't want to look at it. And a bit of a standoff here in the center right now. These tactical Marines in a bit of trouble. Some Raveners moved in on the Devastator that was supporting them. You can see a Space Marine knows no fear. They do need to get out of there. Completely ignoring the tactical Marines. Meanwhile, the engagement has started as far as artillery goes. You can see the Weird Boy firing into the masses there. Meanwhile, the Plague Champion's trying to back cap, but the Shooter Boys do not agree with that. Gonna go ahead and force him away, it looks like. The Assault Marines jumped in a bit prematurely, jumped into a giant pile of range without much support. Tech Marine really needs to get his refractor here. With this kind of range damage, oh, rocks right into the middle, and a Warp Vomit knocking all those Plague Marines to themselves. And oh my god, I don't even know how much just died there. That was a rock right into the middle of a huge pile of troops. It looks, oh, you can see the bottom bar here. Jamus's forces. It looks like 2 squads of Plague Marines and 1 squad of Chaos Space Marines was destroyed in that excellent rock strike. That was really excellent play by Sheffy. Not just the rock strike, but what was crucial there was the Weird Boys Warp Vomit that knocked over all of those units right as the rocks came down, right into the path of that giant rock, which on its own claimed 3 squads of Chaos Marines. Excellent play. That really will turn the tide, make this game a lot more possible to win for the blue side. You can see Raar's now adding to his Carnifex complement with a Swarm Lord here, which is brewing there in the bowels of the Tyranid Hive. And looks like some shots from those beamy def guns and the las cannon. Oh, there goes the Carnifex. It wandered a bit too close. Was right on the edge of the firing range there, but it's gonna fall. And there it goes. Nice big green explosion. Probably pretty messy too. Meanwhile, the Siege Marines again peppering away. It looks like these Slugger Boys were standing out of range and lost quite a few members. They're probably not going to be able to win that melee fight on their own. Meanwhile, the Termagants moving in on these Assault and Tactical Space Marines and 2 squads of Raveners as well. That's quite a bit of range damage. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to win that fight. It looks like Sheffy managed to push back the Plague Marine up top, but Blasta having a